Is take two. I tried recording this before, but I did not have enough storage on my phone, so I had to delete it. This is my top 10 honourable mentions of 2025. I have my notes next to me with the projects I'm going to talk about. I'm not really going to go in order, since, you know, these are honourable mentions. Now, why'd I only limit myself to 10? Frankly, I've listened to too much music this year that came out this year. And if you hear weird noises, that's my dog. I apologize. But the main reason I'm limiting myself to 10 is just because I would have had too much to choose from. So limited it to 10. And I will probably put my album of the year in the description if you want to have a look at what I think is what and how I think of how good it is. This is so bad. Without further ado, may as well start this. So for my first honourable mention, we're gonna go with Hopefully by Loyle Carner. Very underrated, very smooth, very soft kind of jazz rap, just kind of flows, and it has this very in some areas it reminds me of J. Cole, but better. But yeah, I think it is probably, out of all these ones I'm going to talk about, probably the most, well, not the most, but like one of the most underrated sort of projects from this year that I think deserves a bit more attention, as I think it has, you know, a lot of different sort of elements to it with its UK hip-hop, all that sort of stuff. For my second, we're going to go with more of the UK sound. We're going to go with Black British Music by Legxacy. Oh my god, you want to know something? I have been a fan since his last project, the Homeless Music Project. I can't say the full name because, yeah, I'm white. But yeah, his project he released this year, I think, was a really cool blend of, you know, old pop and, you know, a lot of hip hop, a lot of the UK sounds and stuff, you know, some Afro beats, I'm pretty sure, and all that sort of stuff. I sound very dead, I am. I'm very tired. But yeah, that is a very good project. I Just Banged a Snus is one of the best songs of the year, in my opinion. Alright, for the third one, we're going to go with controversial. Don't Tap the Glass, Tyler the Creator. Why did I not put it higher? I don't know, it was fun. I've listened to a lot of music this year, some of which is worse, some of which is better, but Tyler's project Don't Tap the Glass was just fun, you know? I had a good time listening to it. Nothing, I didn't really have much strong thoughts, but Sucker Free is probably my favorite on the whole project. Alright, for the next one, we're going to talk about K1 by Kmoe, and yeah, that was just a very good blend of a lot of like more modern shoegaze and all that sort of stuff. I'm sorry if I'm not going into really too much detail. I don't want to be here forever, but yeah, the K1 project, very good. 1,000 Yard Stare gets huge thumbs up from me. Alright, so I think we're on the 5th one now, or the 4th one. I'm fucking losing count. Hold on. Alright, that was only the 4th one. Alright, good. I may have been a little dumb. Alright, for the 5th pick, I'm gonna choose Live, Laugh, Love by Earl Sweatshirt. An honest look at Earl talking about, you know, maturing, becoming an adult and letting love into his life and, you know, being a father now and all this stuff. It's really crazy to see him, you know, evolve from all this, you know, from all his trauma and all his past experiences, and I think this is one of his strongest projects yet. Genuinely a very enthralling and a very beautiful album, and with its story or with its messaging and all that. Number 6, this is gonna sound crazy, Hurry Up Tomorrow by The Weeknd. Originally, this was in my top 20. What happened? Again, I just listened to too much music, I think was better. that's about it, but the cinematic Sims, and as the grand finale to The Weeknd's career, I think. I don't know, I've seen stuff about him still making music, so make it that what you will. But it's the grand finale, Hurry Up Tomorrow. It closes off the Weeknd chapter, and I think it did a very fantastic job at that. For number, wait, was that 6? Okay, that's the 6th one. I'm sorry, I'm going really dumb today. Alright, for number 6, I'm gonna actually shout out one of my friend's projects, A New Direction by my friend the Crusader. If you're a fan of instrumental hip hop, voila, like Dilla or Madlib and that sort of sound, I think you'll really dig this. It's only 4 songs long, which is why, I couldn't rate it high, and there was some, elements I think could be better, but overall it was a pretty great project, and I highly recommend A New Direction by the Crusader. He has more stuff coming out that you should be there for. Alright, that was number 7. Now on number 8, we have Balloonerism by Mac Miller. I know that was a huge cliffhanger, I'm sorry. Just the whole, I love the fusions of like these psychedelic sort of pianos or guitars and all that sort of stuff, all culminating together with all these blends of like hip hop and jazz, some soul and all this sort of stuff. Rick's piano, one of the best this year. How there's also some orchestral elements with the strings and the cellos and all that sort of stuff, and you just get this really deep look into what Mac Miller was like during the recording of Faces, as this was going to be the alternate project to that. Alright, what's the next up? Oh, that's gonna piss people off. I think that's the second last one. We got Revengeseekerz by Chain Remover. This used to be my album of the year. For the longest time it was. I knew basically when Vanisher released I would take over. But yeah, but Revengeseekerz is a really good culmination of the rage and the modern underground sound. It just pure fucking chaos, honestly. That's all I can really say. It's so much fun to listen to, but I can't listen to it all the time because, I got other stuff I want to listen to. Alright, that was the second last one. The last one I'm going to talk about, Sincerely by Uchis, which is... Sorry, I thought somebody came home. But Sincerely by Uchis has these very soft and smooth blends of pop soul, R&B, art pop, all that sort of stuff, and it's just a very lovely sounding album. And yeah, that's it. That's basically all the honourable mentions. So why didn't I go into much more detail? Because I don't want to be here all day, and I just that, I feel like those were all I had to say. Pretty like surface level. I apologize, but I can say a few things. I will do a top 20 projects of the year next month. Hell yeah. It will be way less in depth. Probably no real detail at all. I'll just be like, and this is number 10, 9, 8, stuff like that. But yeah, those were my honourable mentions of the year. I will put my album of the year in the description. I hope you are doing well, and yeah, see ya.